To discuss more, I'm joined now by John Hardie, Director of the Russia Program at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. John, thank you so much for being with us today on I24 News. I want to begin with the messaging that we heard from the Russian president himself ahead of this high-stakes meeting. What should we make of these strong threats, it seems, towards European leaders?
Well, thanks for having me. I think today's remarks are in keeping with Putin's general posture, which is he's not really entertaining compromise of the sort that would enable a deal to be done. Remember, as much as U.S. Officials might try to impose certain Russian demands on Ukraine, at the end of the day, Zelensky does not have to accept that, and indeed has signaled he won't. So there's going to have to be some give on the Russian side as well. But Putin is right now signaling that he's not ready to do that. He's still sticking to maximalist demands, such as the Ukrainian withdrawal from the Donbass region in eastern Ukraine. And I fear that the U.S. Attempt to kind of impose some of those demands on Kyiv could actually embolden Putin to stick with those maximalist demands.
Would you say that this is likely the final push coming from the Trump administration? How crucial truly are these talks today? And the fact that Jared Kushner is now involved as well?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's the final. It remains to be seen. And each time Trump kind of signals, okay, I'm done with this, he ends up returning to it. So that part is good. I think what has not been so good is the lack of any real pressure on Russia. I mean, just almost as soon as the ink was dry and the new sanctions on Russia's major oil companies back in late October, Witkoff had this meeting with Kirill Dmitriev, the Russian Sovereign Wealth Fund chief, to kind of leading to that now infamous 28-point plan that heavily favored Russia. So it's just kind of a flip-flop strategy by the Trump administration that undercuts any effort to get Putin to compromise.
What likely will happen next after today's meeting? I know it's still happening and we still need to see the details, but as you mentioned, Russia's not looking like it's going to compromise. So what happens next specifically from the American point of view then?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think we'll remain at an impasse in all likelihood. And then I think the task will really fall to Washington to bring more pressure to bear on Russia economically, to kind of bolster Ukraine's long-range strike. Air defense capabilities help Ukraine withstand the winter, while also bringing greater costs to bear on the Russians. And I think ultimately Ukraine is going to have to prove Putin wrong in his belief that he can eventually grind down Ukrainian forces and be able to impose his will on Kyiv. So until he reaches that realization, I don't think that peace is going to be possible, unfortunately.
All right, John Hardie, we'll have to see what does come out of this meeting today. And thank you so much for joining us on I24 News to discuss it all. Thank you.
Thank you.